Hi, this is Karen from the Mindful Earthkeeper, and today I have this wonderful opportunity to talk to my dear friend Nina Perkins about our sustainable life design class that's coming up in a very short time. And I wanted to talk to you today with her help about transforming your mindset for a better future, which is a piece of what we're doing with the Sustainable Life Design course. So what I wanted to do, first of all, is introduce Nina Perkins and then have her say anything that I might have missed about her. Nina and I met back, I think it was in 2015. We were both on the Aurora Sustainable Advisory Board. And I was so impressed with everything about Nina and how well she organized things and made events happen. And then she also got a master's degree in that process in sustainability from the University of Illinois in Springfield, and she's now working on her PhD. So she's just such a committed person to personal growth as well as sustainable living. So let me just introduce Nina, and maybe you can say just one or two things about yourself, Nina.
Okay. Well, I'm really happy to be here with you and to collaborate with you on this adventure that we're doing together. And I've been practicing sustainable lifestyle for a long time. And when I first started, it was just, had a lot to do with educating myself, becoming aware of what's happening in my local community, what's happening in the global, environment. And I didn't like what I was seeing, so I started to slowly make changes, and that has completely changed my outlook on, sustainability and environment. Even led to me advancing my education. So it's been a really great adventure for me.
Well, I'm so impressed with you, and that's why I'm so happy to have you do the Sustainable Life Design course with me. Because even though I've been doing sustainable projects since 2004, I don't think I'm nearly the expert you are in vegan lifestyle or zero waste living. And you inspire me to keep getting better about those two things. So I wanted to say that. But one of the things we talked about before this call was the idea that mindset creates lifestyle, and the talk about like how a lot of people don't have a sustainable mindset. And part of what we hope to do with Sustainable Life Design course is to help us change our mindset. But I wanted to talk to Nina about what the role of mindset had specifically for you, maybe when you started just becoming interested in sustainability and adopting a vegan lifestyle or anything along that line.
Well, mindsets are, they can either be fixed or they can be a growth mindset. So, a lot of people, including myself, long time ago, had a fixed mindset. I didn't think what I was doing was causing any type of harm to the environment, the world. And like I said, once I started to learn more about what was happening in the world, that my little impact does make a difference. So I changed, and developed a growth mindset. So I started doing things slowly, and started to make changes in my own life, my own lifestyle. And now I can't see myself going back to that fixed mindset because I know that it's limited me, and it kept me in a lifestyle that was not you know restorative of the earth or protective of my own body and my own health. So I see it as mindset is huge. When people think, oh, I can't do this because maybe I can't afford it or I don't have time, that can be adjusted just with small little steps.
Oh, thank you, Nina, for that, because that was really wonderful what you were saying there. And I wanted to talk a little bit about you and your background, which is different than mine. You're coming from not only this growth mindset that you've moved out of from fixed mindset, but you're also coming from a different background of being a veteran, of being someone who I think has always been wiser than maybe I was about living well on very little money. And you've learned how to be sustainable without being rich. And a lot of things you read in the about sustainability are you have to be rich to be sustainable. So I wanted to ask you if you could talk a little bit about the mindfulness of being, about your mindset and mindfulness, and how that is shaped by a developing awareness and how you intended things to happen. You're much more I think good at intention. You set an intention and you make it happen. And maybe you could talk a little bit about that to me.
Well, the intentions are now that I know better. But early on, like I say, it's education and even being on, let's say, a smaller income. Um, I knew I didn't have to have certain things that, some people might think are essential for life. But when I looked at my overall happiness, I didn't have to have, like, $500 handbag for one. No offense to anyone who has a $500 handbag, but I mean, I just, get what I need that I can afford, and it's going to last a long time. Because going out constantly shopping and bringing in new stuff and then throwing away, because we live in a disposable world. And when I started to pay closer attention to that, and I would see other people doing that, and I was like, no, that has to change. We need to, for one, um, purchase like better quality of items so that it doesn't fall apart or becomes deficient before the lifetime that it's intended, or that you hope for that item. So even when you have a lower income, sometimes spending a little bit more money on a better quality item is better, because then it'll last longer instead of getting something really cheap that you're going to constantly replace. And so I mean that has worked for me for a long time. um so and it also reduces your waste on the environment.
Well, and I think before this call, you and I were talking about, and in some ways, the benefits of a survival mindset, which you had, uh, both in having been a veteran, where you really
Mhm.
were trying to survive, and
Yeah.
growing up in a sort of tough life. But then, what's happened over your life is that you've moved from, I think, from a survival to a freedom mindset, and to some extent a thriving mindset. I don't know if you'd use the word thriving, but I think you have a more financial freedom than a lot of people because of the way you choose to live. And I think that when we do develop a mindset around um, survival's okay, in a way that we don't always have to have so much luxury, that it's actually keeping us from being free, and it's also it keeps us harming the world. And I just wanted to say that because that's one of the things I think you're going to bring to the Sustainable Life Design course, if people choose to go on with that. But even if you don't choose to take our course together, I hope you think about the people watching this video, that no matter where you are, you can start to develop a growth mindset. And you don't have to grow in things, you can grow in experiences, and you can grow in quality. And I think that's one of the things you bring to this class that they're having, and then into my life, really. But I thought we would talk now a little bit about two of the things we'd be talking about in the course, which is clean living and plant-based living, and sort of like maybe a little bit about what would you recommend for someone in terms of mindset who wants to go vegan or zero waste lifestyle? Because those are two of the things we'll be talking about. What would you recommend with either of those cases, or both?
Well, definitely baby steps, because
Hmm.
when people try and go all in 100%, they become overwhelmed. They're not sure what to do, and then they give it up. So it's best to do things, baby steps, small paces, and make sure you're learning as you're growing. And next thing, I mean, you start that way, and then you can start doing a little bit more. As far as plant-based lifestyle, maybe reduce one meal a week that you would normally have animal meats and dairy and stuff like that, and just have 100% plant-based. So just say one meal. Start there, and maybe a couple weeks later, reduce eliminate two animal-based meals a week, and then just go from there. And that's probably the easiest thing to do, because you're not depriving yourself of what you would normally have.
I think
Uh,
that's really good advice, and that's
mhm,
something we're actually going to be sharing some simple vegan meals that people can create for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It can be
mhm,
dinner or whatever meal. Um, and that's one of the things I think is going to be fun. And you're also going to be talking about how that sort of fits in with the zero waste lifestyle in the way you're living things. So I think that's going to be really cool if people sign up for the course. We're trying to keep this video short, so I'm going to get to the end about um, how it is important that as individuals that we address sustainability in whatever way we can. And I think it's important that we have the right mindset to do that. And so I just wanted to conclude my questions for you, Nina, in saying, um, what do you think is the most important for someone who's an individual and wants to take to be part of making the world more sustainable? Um, would you say it's going plant-based, zero waste living, or educating yourself? What do you think might be most important to begin with?
well, education, and being aware of your own habits. Because if people don't really analyze themselves to see what they're specifically doing, um, then their mindset's not going to change. They're not going to become more mindful. So people need to evaluate and then start slowly making changes.
Mhm. Well, and I think that's even true for someone who is it somewhat advanced in sustainable life design, where you think you've done a lot of things, but there's always something new to learn. And that's that whole growth mindset. And I hope that people who decide to join our course would have a lot of fun with that. And one of the things that we're going to be giving away is this sustainable life design questionnaire. Normally, this is something that we share with people who we do one-on-one coaching with. But every time that we do the sustainable life design course this year, we're going to be sharing that questionnaire, and we're going to do it again in October. I'll be doing it with Dr. Lisa Booklinger. We'll be focused on a little bit different things, but this time I'm really excited that we'll be focused on these concepts of clean living and plant-based living and mindfulness and mindset. And so this is, to me, is a really great class, and I hope some people who watch this video are going to want to get involved with our class. But if you don't, I hope you take away from this little video that we had some of these key insights that Nina was sharing about get started with education and take small steps. You don't have to completely reevaluate your life to make it meaningful and to be more sustainable. Is there any last words you want to say, Nina?
I'm just happy to be a part of this, and I hope that people sign up and want to learn more, because I want to help people, to become more sustainable, and so we can all together, you know, take care of each other and protect this planet.
Perfect. Thank you, Nina. And I hope that those of you who feel like this is something that you're ready for, join us. And if not, we will be doing other classes this year together, I think. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back on various platforms talking to you more this year. Thanks so much.